to my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate if you go up and click the subscribe button and stay tuned for future videos. If you are seeing this now or sometime in the future, this is one of my earlier videos, so please excuse any fubbing on my words. Gotta get a little more polished. I am a yoga teacher and CPT, and I have been teaching for several years in the fitness community, and a meditation teacher for almost a decade and a half. So I have lots of experience working with people. See my intro video for my full list of qualifications, or feel free to go over to my website, kineticwellnessonline.com or kineticwellness.online. So today we're going to go through 5 moves for ab activation. Now, this sequence, like most of my sequences, was designed with a custom goal in mind. So the goal today is to take you through activation sequences if you've recently experienced a surgery. So in solidarity, I am wearing my faja today, but when I say an abdominal surgery, I mean if you have a 360, lower body lift, a tummy tuck, extended tummy tuck, any type of abdominal surgery where you might have had some ab repair done or some loose skin removed. So mommy makeovers qualify, but this is a way to start to wake those abdominal muscles back up after they've been repaired or you've had some loose skin removed so you have a bigger range of motion. That being said, please check with your doctor before starting any exercise program, especially working the muscles that had been repaired during a surgery. So I personally did not start doing these types of moves until 10 to 12 weeks post my own surgery. I did have a 360 lower body lift after losing over 100 pounds, and they removed 11 pounds of loose skin. So, as I said, wearing my faja in solidarity here, just keeping myself safe. As of the time of the recording, I am 6 months post-op from my own procedure, and anything that I'm wearing or using in this video, you can always find links and recommendations on my socials or on my website. So that being said, let's get into a couple of moves to kind of start to wake up that core and try to take you back to a place where you feel strong in your abdominals and in your entire core. So the first move that I'm going to do, you can do it in a chair if you do not have a exercise ball. But if you do have an exercise ball, it is a great tool to use for this because it kind of gently starts to activate those ab muscles. So I have a ball chair that I use at my desk. You can also just put a ball on the floor or in a cradle, or you can just use a flat back chair. So like a dining room chair is perfect for this. Anything that's going to keep your knees at a 90-degree angle. So the first move that we're going to do is just simply breath work. If you're a yoga student, pranayama is the correct term, but you're going to sit with your knees at 90 degrees and you're going to start to focus on your abdominal muscles. So start to take some really deep breaths in and exhales out. And as you're exhaling, I want you to envision your belly button pushing in towards your spine. Now, you may or may not feel sensation at this time, depending on your own level of recovery. Everybody's journey is a little bit different, but really just focusing on as you're taking those deep breaths, you're kind of pulling that belly button in and just trying to feel that feeling. So after 5 good breaths in and out, I want you to start to hold that in a little bit. So nice deep breath in, exhale it all the way out, and then hold it at the bottom and see if you can pull it in. So kind of like your pelvic floor muscles that you use to go to the bathroom, that lower abdominal area, you should be able to activate them a little bit deeper if you're on a ball or really focusing on them and releasing them out. Taking 5 more, taking a couple seconds of pause at the top. So counting to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhaling it out. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale out. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale in. And it's okay to let your body expand with that breath. Your chest will open up, all that good air comes in. Exhale it all out, really getting all that air back out and starting to wake up that core. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Now I know these moves might not be as intense as some of you may be used to. If you are an avid workout person like myself, I was like, man, I don't know why I'm doing such simple movements, but you can really feel them. And the important part is to go gentle with yourself, especially if you have internal sutures or something in your abdominal region, because you want to do it gently. Even though you may be healed on the outside, your incisions may be closed, you don't want to disrupt the healing that's happening on the tissues internally. So make sure you're not messing up those tissues. Now, coming down to the floor, I do have a block nearby. If you have a block, great. If not, you can always grab a hardcover book. I filmed this in my library at home. I have lots of hardcover books. You can grab a book, you can grab a pillow, you can grab something like that, but just have it nearby. So the next move we're going to do is called a hollow out, and you're going to lay down on your back, and it's a very similar motion to what we just went through in the chair. So you're going to take deep breaths in, and as you exhale, the goal is to make a concave motion with your stomach. So you're almost going to lift your pelvis up a little bit, flexing your abdominal muscles, making a little C curve with that tummy. Enjoying how nice and flat your tummy may be after abdominal surgery, and then relax that out. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Make that C curve just by tilting the pelvis up, engaging those abdominal muscles, feeling that core light up, or maybe not feeling any sensation at all yet. Those nerve endings do take a long time. Relax that down. Inhale in. Those nerve endings take a long time to regrow. Exhale out, bringing that C curve back in. So you may not start to feel sensation for up to a year. It might take that long. Release that down. Inhaling in, exhaling out, making that C curve happen. Holding it there and relaxing it out. One more deep breath, just like that, all the way in. Exhale all the way out. Make that C curve, almost like you're sucking your stomach in. So I'm sure you've done this in the mirror before or after surgery where you try to suck your stomach in. So that's kind of the motion here, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, release that out. You can do a few more if those feel good. If you get fatigued during this process, you do not have to do all these moves in sequence. You can take a few today, you can come back and watch this video and take a few tomorrow. You can do only the ones that feel good to your body. Please honor your body and your process. All right. So the next move we're going to do is actually a modified bridge pose. And again, if this is too intense, go back to the breathing exercises until you feel comfortable doing that. So find your block, your book, your pillow, whatever it may be, and gently lift your hips up and place it underneath your seat. So it's going to be right underneath the fleshiest part of your bottom. Make sure it is not on your incision. You don't want to press onto your incision, especially if it is still tender or very open, or a wound is still healing or anything like that. So make sure your wounds are entirely healed before you place anything near it. We don't want to damage your incision, okay? So putting that near the cushy part of your butt, we're just going to do some more activation here. So kind of the same thing, lifting your pelvis up slightly. If you feel like you can lift to a hover, lift to a hover. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and come back down. Breath in, breath out, lift and hold for 3, 2, 1. Now you continue to take those movements just like that, or if you feel like that's not quite enough and you want to test a little bit more, stretch your leg out to the front. Now, this is actually going to stretch your hip flexor, which an unexpected part of having a tummy tuck surgery or especially a lower body lift is your hip flexor area might be extremely tight. It might be a lot of tension, a lot of stretching in this area, particularly if you had a 360 and they lifted everything up from the bottom. And the hip flexor is part of your core, right? It's not just your abs, it's your core, which wraps all the way around and stabilizes. So if you like to extend your leg out, enjoy that stretch for a moment and take that motion again. Just try to engage by lifting your pelvis up slightly and resting it back down. You might feel some activation in your glute muscles, lifting up and gently coming back down, lifting up and gently coming back down. If you want to try a deeper activation, you can try to lift your leg up just to a hover and putting it back down. Lifting it up and putting it back down. Lifting it up and putting it back down. If this is too intense for you, you are going to return right here to these bridges, either with that lift of the pelvis or just with that C-curve activation. Whatever feels better for your body, take it at your level. Again, we're just waking up the abs here. We're not building a six-pack. We're not doing anything crazy. We're just trying to reconnect what it feels like to move our core muscles and get them reawakened to supporting our body, supporting our spine, supporting our movement. So if you did that extension on that right side, make sure you copy it on the left side, taking the same motion, trying to even out both sides. It may not feel even. Your hip flexor may feel tighter on one side versus the other. As much as we love to think our bodies are symmetrical, they're really not. We always have one good side, one bad side, one awkward side, and one smooth side, if you're me. So take that lift again if that feels good. If the lift feels like too much, but the hip bridges feel like too little, try pointing and flexing your foot. Just making a longer lever here with that leg. You're still moving those tendons, those abs. You'll feel it right up the side of your oblique if you have sensation there. But flexing and pointing is a good way to move it as well. So if you did your 3 already, you are done. I'm going to do one more just to make sure I'm even. And then you're going to return to center. Gently lift those hips up, take that block out, let your spine neutralize. Again, if you feel fatigued at this point, feel free to stop. You can pause the video, come back later, or just bookmark it and come back again. But our fourth move is just going to be a lift. So this might be a little more intense. If you have your ball nearby, you can always place your feet on the ball instead, or just lift your legs up and hold. So in traditional abdominal movements, you might do crunches here or something like that. Don't do crunches. We're not even going to do extensions. We're just going to hold them up there. So if this feels like a lot, you don't have to hold it for long, but really focus on that belly button to spine action. This is going to get real intense really fast, so it's okay to just stay here and then take a rest when you need it. If you are using that ball chair, you can put the hips on, or put your feet on the ball and lift that hip very slightly in that C-curve motion. If you didn't want to do that, you do not have to. This is just as good. So again, focusing on that breath, focusing on that intention, focusing on that activation in the core, and gently bringing those legs back down. I'm going to do that one more time. I like to work in 3s and 8s. Must be the fitness instructor in me. So I'm on my 3rd one. If you ever go to the gym, I'm sure they tell you do 3 sets of whatever. Or if you're in a bar class or a yoga class, a lot of times we hold things for 8 breaths. So make sure you're breathing when you're here. It's really the breath that's activating the abdominals here. Every time you breathe, you use your abs, but when you breathe deeply, you're really engaging that core and making it a full body exercise. Awesome job. Drop those feet back to the earth. Take a normal breath here. You're like, whoo, that's so much harder than I thought it would be. You're right. Your abs have been through a lot. They've been through a lot of work lately. So honor that. Honor that even though you might have had the strongest core ever and you thought, oh my goodness, I was ripped. I lost all this weight. I had this incredible fitness journey. Just honor the fact that you're going through a healing process. The number one thing you should prioritize right now is rest. I understand it is difficult to prioritize rest, but you need it more than ever, right? You did the work, you spent the money, you went through the surgery, and now you have a chance to rest. What's a few more weeks of rest when you spent all that time and all that money and all that effort, right? You deserve the best results possible. So please only take this at your pace and really honor the body. The last move I'm going to introduce you to is something called bird dog. So if you've ever done physical therapy for your lower back or anything like that, this is a great exercise for both your lower back and for that core region. So as you set yourself up, you want your shoulders under your wrists and you want your knees underneath your hips. You're in this tabletop position. You're going to lift your right arm up, and that might be enough for you. If you can, push your left leg to the back. So whatever arm is in front, the opposite leg goes back. And then you're just going to hold it. Try to keep your hips straight. You can take a break as you need it, but I'm going to do this from the side because you want to keep your hips straight. You want to make sure that you're not leaning over onto your right side and getting your shoulders off balance. You don't want to lean over to the side and get your hips off balance. You really want to stay flat through the shoulders and through the hips as you're doing that extension. You do not have to look forward and strain your neck. You can look down at your mat or at the floor. And again, sending that breath into that core, taking as many breaks as you need to, taking a breath in between. If it feels good, you can always take a cat-cow in between. So taking an inhale as you drop your belly, and an exhale to kind of arch your spine. Do it gently. Don't force anything. Might want to be very mindful that you are still in recovery, and you should not force your body beyond the limits of what it can accomplish. If it hurts, stop. Basic rule. If it hurts, stop. Extend that other arm out and that opposite leg back. And even yourself out, checking in that your shoulders are nice and even, that your hips are nice and even. If your leg is not all the way off the ground like mine is, that's fine. Maybe it's down here. Maybe your arm's down here. Maybe you're just doing an arm. Maybe your shoulders are tired and you just want to do a leg. All those variations are appropriate. The most important thing is the alignment across the shoulders and the alignment across the hips. Breathing into that pose, breathing into that activation, and then putting it down. If you would like to do a few more, you are welcome to do that. If you do not, you do not have to. But those are the 5 moves that I went to as my first step on ab activation after my surgery. I encourage you to try them out, switch them up, switch the sequence, switch the pattern. Try a few, try them all, see what works for you and your body, honor your body, and I hope you'll join me on my next video and subscribe either here, visit the website, or find me on Instagram at Kinetic Catherine. It's been a pleasure sitting with you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.